everybody. I'm on a trip, so I'm in the car. I'm not driving. Steven's driving over there. So anyway, this week, first of all, police reported ahead. First of all, I just wanted to encourage you guys, because you know all of the Beatitudes. That's awesome. You know 12 verses of the Bible right in a row, and many Psalms are less than 12 verses. We're learning Matthew 5, which happens to be a really long chapter of the Bible, but you already know as many as a lot of the whole chapters of the Bible. So keep up the good work and keep reviewing those. We're on to a new section, and so the way that we're going to memorize this week is I have a little story to tell you guys. And remember, when you're memorizing stuff, the more bizarre you can make it, the more crazy, the more it's going to stick with you. And you might be thinking, this story's taking too long to tell, but I promise you it's going to help you keep up with the keywords. And I might have to look down at my notes, but hopefully I can get through this. So here's the story. You're all alone and you're going to your favorite restaurant. And first of all, that's bizarre, because why are you going alone? And I'm picturing Olive Garden because that's what I love, but picture your favorite restaurant. You are all alone and you're headed to dinner. Okay, you pull into the parking lot and you hear a lot of crunching, and you look down and the whole parking lot is covered in salt. Like, hear the crunching, feel your tires going over it. Okay, you park and you get out and you're like, whoa, what is all this salt? And so you bend down to check it out, and you feel a breeze in the back and your hiney's sticking out. Your shirts come up and your pants are riding down, and so your hiney's sticking out. But you pick up some of the salt and you're going to taste it to see if it really is salt, because it looks like salt, but you're like, I'm not really sure what this is. And you go to taste it, and all of a sudden you feel a presence standing there, and you look up, and right there is a huge Indian chief. Like, he's got the headdress and the feathers, and he's got war paint on and all that, and he's saying, "Howl." And you're like, oh, this is bizarre. And at this point you're trying to figure out, is this a dream or is this reality? Like, this is so bizarre, and you're not really sure if it's a dream or reality. So the Indian chief is saying, "How?" And then he asks you a question. And then you go inside and you eat your meal, and everything starts to feel kind of normal, and you're like, okay, maybe this is reality and we're all okay. But you go to pay and you have a gift card to pay with. And they come back and they say, it is no longer good for anything. You can't use this gift card. And you start to panic because you have no cash, you have no debit card, you have no way else of paying. They realize you can't pay, and they throw you out. Okay? So you get thrown out of the restaurant, and you're down there on the ground, and at this point a huge crowd has gathered to see this phenomenon of salt that is in the parking lot. And they don't see you down there, and you get trampled under people's feet. Okay? And then as you're down there, you look up and you realize normally there's lots of lights in a parking lot, but in this parking lot there's only one light. It's a huge light, and you look up and it's the globe. Okay? It's a big globe, and it's lighting the whole parking lot. And you finally make it to your car, and all you're thinking is, I just want to go home. This is crazy. And so you get in your car, and lo and behold, on the dashboard is a snow globe. And you pick up the snow globe and you look into it, and in the snow globe is a little hill with the city of Birmingham on top of it. And then you make it home. So that is the little story to help you remember the key words of this verse. So these two verses are about salt and light. Okay? And so how did it start out? You were going to dinner by yourself. So the first word of the verse is you. All right? And then there's salt in the parking lot. You are the salt of the earth. Okay? And then the next word, what happened to you? You bent down and you felt a breeze because your booty was hanging out. So the next word is but. So the breeze is to remind you, but. And then you're going to taste it. It says, if salt has lost its taste. And then who was standing there right in front of you? The Indian chief, right? And he's saying, how? And asking you a question. And he says, how shall its saltiness be restored? Is what he's asking you. And that's the next part of the verse. How shall its saltiness be restored? So you go in and you eat and you try to pay with the gift card, and they say it is no longer good for anything. So guess what? That's the next part of the verse. It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out, and you were thrown out and trampled under people's feet, and you were trampled. And then what was next? You looked up and you saw a big light, and it was shaped like the world, a globe. And so the next part is, you are the light of the world. And then you got in your car, and the snow globe was on the dashboard, and there was a hill with like your city, Birmingham on top. And the last sentence is, a city set on a hill cannot be hidden. So that's our verse. It's verses. 2 verses this week. Salt and light. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. Say it over and over again. Read through it every morning. You know, a great thing to do is just pull up that YouVersion app and just listen to Matthew 5, like while you're doing your makeup every day, or while you're driving, or while you're doing something. Listen to Matthew 5. I think it takes about 3 or 4 minutes total, and then that'll help get all the words in there. So then when we come to the verses we're learning, all the words will be in there. You just kind of have to pull it all together. I'm super proud of you guys. I hope this wasn't so crazy in the car. I know it's bouncing and I'm squinting because I can barely see, but hopefully these tricks will help you, and I will see you next week.